The next presentation is on reducing costs and improving quality in rural sanitation options through innovation and research. Mr. John Ikeda, Water and Sanitation Specialist, World Bank, and Ruqayya Ahmed from Water Sanitation Specialist from World Bank, a sanitation specialist in World Bank, Dhaka. Her key areas of expertise are microgrid, small-scale private sector development, water and sanitation, especially on CLTS, and sanitation marketing, early childhood development, gender inequity. Okay.
Research globally we have done, action research mainly. And here I am presenting the experience from 3 countries, Bangladesh, Indonesia and Cambodia. As I lead the Bangladesh research, maybe that a major portion example will come from Bangladesh. So this is a work actually we have done after CLTS promotion. That's from WSP we supported different countries to promote CLTS. So what beyond CLTS? And how we can improve the quality of construction and also engaging private sector and other actors for the sustainability of toilets and also overall behavioral change. From that aim, we started this work in different countries. So in Bangladesh, you know that our coverage is high, and in 2010-11, we have done a research on sustainability of sanitation services in Bangladesh, and we found that around 90% people constructed latrine from their own finance, and they spent around $20 for construction in latrine, especially poor people. We have done this, and we found that most of the toilets are direct pit, and water seal is broken, so it's unhygienic and low quality material, and this is constructed by unskilled people. So from that perspective, we have done some research in Bangladesh that how we can develop a affordability quality product and create the market so all the products are available in the remote areas of Bangladesh, and how we can support government, private sector, and by linking them with microfinance institute to promote this all over the country. Similarly, we have also worked in Cambodia, that's the product development and also linking with microfinance. And in Indonesia, the main innovation is that in Indonesia, we have formed a small-scale private sector association. This is named as AFSANI. This private sector association is working with Indonesia government to promote sanitation product as well as demand creation to support the government for construction toilet in the rural Indonesia, which has the millions of people in Indonesia to move from open defecation to fixed point defecation by purchasing toilets from these small-scale entrepreneurs. So the strategy we are following, that's for sanitation marketing, what Colonel presented. The first thing that we need product to marketing, and so product development is very important, especially for rural areas, because you will find if you go a sanitary shop or any shop in the urban area, very high cost toilets, materials, commodes, ceramic pans and others, you will find it. For the rural people, in Bangladesh and other countries, you ended up very plastic pan, does not look very colorful, and slabs which is not easy to clean, not look good, and not durable also. So the product development is very crucial for market promotion. And in Bangladesh and in Cambodia, in Indonesia, all these 3 countries, that we did not actually create a new private sectors. We identified the private sector who were actually producing sanitary materials. That's the rings, slabs, and then purchasing from large scale manufacturers, plastic pan. So we worked with them. with the new product, we worked with them how can they produce new product with quality and also comfort and durability and also attractive for the people, and they can see and buy it. So most of the product we actually made it colorful, red color, green color, so attractive color. And these entrepreneurs are very small. They don't have the capital to produce this product because they need finance for marketing this product. So we link them with commercial bank, especially in Indonesia, in Cambodia and Bangladesh. We link them with microfinance institute. Then initially we did not introduce customer credit for purchasing the toilet, but later we found that also the poor people, especially the moderate poor and lower middle class people, if they can actually get around $50 credit, $60 credit, and they have also savings $20 like this, so they can have $100 toilets and they can pay back the capital in installment, which is easy for them. Then for this work, we have partnered with NGOs, government, and MFI. That's actually as we don't implement large scale project, rather we support government to implement large scale project. So we tried to link the government project with private sector and also MFI. So this is the dream of us, so that the people will move from a very simple toilet to a better one. So moving the ladder. So very simple dream. And in Bangladesh, that how we have reduced the cost. First in 2009, we actually came up with a Bilash brick toilet. We branded it Bilash, which requires $200 US to construct, and skilled labor, mason, and to purchase different materials. So it's actually, one thing is costly, second thing that sometimes in rural area it's difficult to get a skilled labor. And then in 2013, we came up a Bilash box toilets by reducing $50 cost from Bilash brick. And then we found also, again it requires skilled labor. So how can we actually construct something prefabricated toilet? So people can purchase it from the market and go to the home, and then with a labor they can fix it out, and it looks good, durable, and yes. Then we introduce Aram and Aram Plus toilet. This, you can see the different parts of a toilet. So the latrine producer can produce it in a bulk, and it's easy. So different parts they can buy from, the customers can buy from the market. Even some of the entrepreneurs, they become so skilled, it takes 2 to 4 hours for them to fix a toilet in a house. Even in the marriage ceremony, in others years, people purchasing this type of toilets, and this cost $100. So it took for us 3 years for this type of product innovation. And Deji is here with me, Umme Farah Deji. She worked with me. Jahid, another person, Jahid is also here. He worked with me. So we work together with entrepreneurs. And what's happened the most encouraging for us, we have given one idea to the private sector, small scale private sector. They have added 2 more ideas. And initially we worked with 20 entrepreneurs for this innovation. Now we are working 1,500 entrepreneurs for the market promotion. So our learning is that these toilets is comfortable, easy to clean, very colorful, and it's attractive for the customers to purchase it. And the people like actually high quality product, if it is available. Before this project, ceramic pan was not available in very Union Parishad, village level of market. But after our work, we introduced low-cost ceramic pan, and people like ceramic pan. They actually, most of the people, 80% people, they say we like ceramic pan to purchase. They never even think of ceramic pan. So if you introduce something to them, in front of them, they like it. And they like, actually, we introduce a large platform, because so elderly people can easily go to the toilet, and also mothers can take their children with them, and they can keep some water then. in the toilet and also use the toilet for ministerial hygiene purposes. And there's actually one question came in the, yes, about this multiple product selling from a sanitation marketing for the entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs previously were selling the plastic pan and slabs. Now we have trained them how to produce the superstructures, the pillar, the different parts of the toilet, and one-stop shop. So people can order the full toilet in one shop and then buy it, and they can take the also responsibility to installment of the toilets. So we have a partnership with a very large-scale microfinance institute, ASHA. By this time, they have provided $5 million credit to the entrepreneurs, more than 800 entrepreneurs, and around 50,000 customers. And now other organizations also coming up for microfinance for this toilet. You have heard maybe about the Plan Bangladesh Result Program funded by DFID. In the Result Program, all the toilets are installed. They have taken the design of our Aram and Aram Plus toilet in the Result Program. So in the Department for Public Health and Engineering, they have taken 3 designs from us. We are working with them together, and this is the first time in Bangladesh, in a government project, they are supporting people in partnership with small-scale entrepreneurs. Channeling subsidy not directly to the household, rather giving household to a 5,000 taka voucher. So these people are coming to the shop, entrepreneur shop, they are choosing their own toilets, and they are constructing a 10,000 taka toilet, 8,000 taka toilet, depending on their ability and also choice. And these entrepreneurs are going to their home and constructing their toilet. After construction of the toilet, they are submitting bill to DPHE, and DPHE giving them 5,000 taka. So this is a very innovative way we are working with government. So this is our learning that we introduce all offset toilet, because offset toilet is easy to clean. People can construct. We are promoting attached toilet with living room. It's easy. And we have renovated that for the fecal slush management. No, it's not very easy to promote fecal slush management. So first we tried to promote twin pit toilet. Then we decided to promote one pit offset toilet with a flexible pipe, so people can construct the second pit later. And we have entrepreneurs that they are also demand creating. And similarly in Cambodia, that's for open defecation, free status, we are working with ID Cornell is their path. And there we have done similar thing. One product we have promoted, and also partnership with 2 microfinance institutes. In Indonesia, I mentioned that that in Cambodia and Indonesia, the program we have done, we are trying to promote with both the government, and we have found that people, if they get credit, that's actually interesting for them. And credit workers and also private sector can play a key role for demand creation, which reduce the cost of hiring extra people for demand creation. In Bangladesh, first we have 1 worker for 1 union parishad. Now then we have given 1 demand creation worker for 1 sub-district. Now we are telling them market promotion officer for a whole district, 1 person only, coordinating with private sector for demand creation. In this way, we have reduced cost for the demand creation also through private sector promotion. So this is actually, in Indonesia, that's one-stop shop is very popular, and a household can purchase the full toilet from a shop, which is very remarkable. And we have prepared a learning note for these 3 countries. So it is available in World Bank booth, and I have some copies on Bangladesh one. If you want to know more, you can contact with us and collect this learning note. And we have done some research work. We are doing randomized trial controlled method. We have some treatment villages, some treatment entrepreneurs who did not receive training and did not receive the credit. So now we are preparing the report. I hope by next 2 months we'll be able to share with all of you. It will be available in our website. Thank you very much.
Innovations. I have the last presentation today. That is on innovation in sanitation sector. It's on e-catalog that has been developed for individual household toilets. The authors are Shilpi Roy, Sampat Gopalan, and from Water, and Kalimathu from Water for People. Shilpi will be making the presentation. Shilpi is a master's in sociology, and she has been working with Water for People as marketing and communication officer for more than and she has more than 5 years experience. Shilpi.
That has been jointly developed by the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Government of India, and Water for People. E-catalog is basically a tool with which a family or a customer, basically for they can design their own toilet, and they can choose what type of toilet, of how much money they want to build it with. E-catalog is an Android application. It's a flash-based application, so you can use it on your desktop, and that will show the type of toilet you want to build with, and you can choose the type of material, the amount, the different types of options for a toilet. The need for e-catalog is, so when a few years back there was this discussion on, there were a lot of families, a lot of customers who felt that they could not get any choice in the type of toilet they wanted to build with, because they could not visualize the toilet, and they had a very limited number of choice they could build their toilet with. So that was one of the motivations to come up with an application that would help them see what their toilet would look like. Then another reason was lack of exposure. The families in the rural areas, they are not exposed to a lot of options across for sanitary products, and they have really small sanitary rural marts or point of purchases where there used to be very small number of, limited number of materials where they could go and select their materials. There was a great level of dependency for the family on the mason or on the owner of the rural sanitary mart to let him choose the kind of toilet the family had to build for themselves. So there was a discussion on where we could reduce that decision dependency. We also wanted to bridge the gap between the policies that we developed for the families and the actual level of ground level implementation. Then we believe that the family should be given the authority to have a great level of quality control. If they knew that what material would be, what material should be, their toilet should be built with, and they could visualize it, they would have a greater amount of quality control for the toilet. Minimize and prevent misuse of government subsidies. Most families, the government subsidy for building an Indian toilet for under Swachh Bharat mission is rupees 12,000 rupees, and we wanted to prevent any kind of misuse or mismanagement of that subsidy and dedicate that entire fund to building a toilet for the family, so that the family can have a structure which will last them for years and years to come. The functionality of the e-catalog, it's an Android and a flash-based application. We have already launched the flash-based application, and the Android app will be launched soon. It's a combination of photographic 3D visualization plus software. It shows the different type of materials and the different types of choice along with the cost. It also shows the 2D plan of the toilet, the actual cost estimate and the 3D view. It also gives all the disposable options like leach pits and other EcoSan toilets. The e-catalog can be used by Swachhta Doots and self-help groups, Gram Panchayat, the PRI members, ASHA, Anganwadi workers, the production centers, sanitation entrepreneurs, the various government departments, the block and district coordinators of Swachh Bharat Mission, NGOs, INGOs, and basically anyone involved in the sanitation promotion. Then, if you want to download the app, you can go to the Swachh Bharat Mission Grameen website, and you can download the e-catalog for individual household toilet. This is the screenshot of the website, and there is a banner running where you can download, like click on the Android version and the Windows version. So now I would like to give you a demo of the app. So now we are entering the application. So the first screen is where you can choose what type of toilet you actually want, whether you want a conventional toilet or a modular toilet or an EcoSan toilet or an accessible toilet. So I would start with the conventional toilet, or I can start with what foundation or basement would you like? These are the materials you can choose. Stone? I'm sorry, I need more please. So you click on the photograph and stone comes here, and you can see the cost and you can see the total cost on the top of it. The superstructure will be of brick. The floor will be of cement or tiles. So I'll just choose tiles here. The sanitary fitting, you have different types of sanitary fitting which you can choose. So I will choose an Indian closet, and the door, a PVC door, and I would choose a cement slab for more system. Then you can choose the type of disposal system you want. So I would choose a standard leach pit of 3 to 5 users. Sir, do we want a tank with tap? The brick one or the fly ash brick? Okay. Then do we want a attached bath? Okay, so if you don't want a bath, no issue. We also have the no option. So on the top of the column, you can see the total amount of 17,000. But we also, if we just change some of the permutation combination, we can make a toilet that's for 12,000 rupees, well within the Indian toilet subsidy. So you can print this page from by clicking this get this page thing where this page can be printed and given to the toilet customer. So if you go to a rural sanitary mart or a sanitation entrepreneur who has who is very technology friendly, he can give this page as a printout to the toilet that yes, this is the type of toilet you will get. So now I'll go back, and if someone wants an accessible toilet for senior citizens or for disabled people, they can choose a toilet. They already have a ready-made toilet, so with a ramp, and we can just select the disposable system. That will be, suppose, a standard leach pit, so that cost also can be seen. Anyone else? The EcoSan toilet can be selected as a brick or a concrete toilet or a ferrocement toilet. So if it's an EcoSan toilet with a ferrocement structure, it will look something like this. Or if we go for a modular toilet, you can go for a ferrocement circular or a ferrocement square model. And you can choose the disposal system, the sanitary fittings, and the type of door you want. So, and you can see the total cost. So this is the e-catalog, and I hope it will be used to most of us. So, thank you.
Shilpi, for a very nice presentation and being in time. I think we have another round of question and answers.
We've been able to have such a range of presentations. It's really interesting to see this level of innovation. But I want to emphasize again I do a lot of work in Africa and other parts of South Asia, and this is a level of discussion that would I think be quite provocative in other parts of the world, because the cost implications and also the distribution systems that would be required to support these options, both on the supply, the sanitation marketing piece that we've heard by Rakaya, as well as the options that are available within the e-catalog. So I just wanted to give sort of a global perspective on this. I'm really encouraged by this. It indicates the level of both sophistication options and forward thinking in terms of post-ODF. But with that confession of my own reference point, let me just make a few comments on the two presentations. I found Rakaya's presentation mapping a number of countries in both Southeast Asia and South Asia to be helpful in terms of looking at the scale above the VIP pit latrine, looking at poor flush options, and really looking at more stable structures. I think the cost points, the price points, are really the issue here. Shifting from $200 to $100 that's a huge shift, and I think to get anywhere in the world the $100 toilet option is within the realm of a possibility for many households, particularly if it's durable and it can end up being a 5 to 10, even 15-year product. That cost spread out over time of $100 is manageable to a really wide cross-section. So I'm encouraged by the innovation. It might be good, just to push back a bit, in terms of how many of the prefabbed $100 toilets have actually been sold. I'd be interested to hear that figure, whether that's been taken up the market. There's a market for that product, and it's growing, or whether there's a preparatory period that requires market testing and some back and forth so that such products do reach market. I was also quite pleased with the innovations in financing in terms of partnerships with ARSHA, the microfinance institution. I think the need to be thinking about cash flow situations for people with very limited incomes becomes quite crucial if we're looking at improving quality for as wide a cross-section as possible, so that the exercise is not just creaming those best off within communities to access these products, leaving most others behind. So I think that the issue of innovations in microfinance targeted not only to households, but also, if I heard you correctly, also the producers, and to be smarter about how to use incentives, to use the incentive subsidy in ways that you're essentially having multiple levels of leverage. I think that's excellent. In terms of the app, I think it speaks for itself. Nice presentation with the e-catalog. I was encouraged by the simplicity with which you're able to present complex issues. I was reminded of my own desire to look at clothing around Christmas time and to see those options for myself. So I think this is something for others, not myself. But the familiarity that such an application has, not only to prospective users of sanitation products, but to other things that are coming their way. I think this is important, that there's some continuity with increasingly larger numbers of population as information technology, not only smartphones, but access to shared cyberspaces, shared computer use, as well as eventually even mobile phone applications. What we're looking at is not only sanitation and hygiene products that are having this kind of e-catalog, but we could think of any number of products that could be reaching populations that previously were seen as excluded through the digital divide, but now are essentially part of that. So I think it's encouraging to see the display and the application. If I understood correctly, it's not limited to what we just saw in the application, but it's also you're giving access to, if we can use our language of rights holders and duty bearers, the people who are in the duty bearer side of it, who the different practitioners are, who are options for small-scale entrepreneurs that would be available to receive this, who are the local Grand Panchayat leadership, who is the key people in block development officers, district magistrates. In other words, information is, through this process, not only being made in areas of sanitation products, but also who's doing what. And I think to a lot of, as we've seen in the delivery, particularly in India over the last 10 years, much of the problem is the disbursement system, and that there's a lack of knowledge of who's who. And that lack of information undermines the household's ability not only to choose the quality of sanitation and the options that are available to them, but also to understand the structures, to understand the distribution systems, to understand how public investment is being made. And I think this just speaks to transparency, which I see that the Indian government is moving towards in their apps. The Swachh Bharat app is a really phenomenal innovation. And so I think what your presentation showed was not only what's available in terms of sanitation options and products, but also who the various protagonists are down to the local level. A couple of questions to push back on. Are you able to reach diverse language groups? I'm just putting my own questions out, maybe others will have them. Are you able to make the presentation culturally acceptable to different populations? Are you able to move beyond sanitation products to hygiene products? And is there an option for that so that greater knowledge is available to a wider spectrum of people about the full gamut of sanitation and hygiene products and services? So I just end with these provocations, but as I did before, I wanted to open the floor for some questions. We could take a couple. We have limited time. Yes?
Thank you, Chris. Sorry. Just wanted to ask...
sorry, just ground rules.
Yeah, sorry, my name is Ravi Narayanan. I'm currently wearing a FANSA hat. So a couple of questions. Is there any studies, have there been any studies between toilet design, low cost or otherwise, and hazard to groundwater? That's one. And a slightly disruptive and heretical question. Are there circumstances in which open defecation is preferable to fixed point defecation with respect to groundwater risks?
Yeah, that's raised a few eyebrows in the room. Yes?
I'm Shubha Thakur, Joint Secretary, Urban Development, Government of India, looking after Swachh Bharat Urban. I have a question for Rokia. You mentioned about the $100 toilet. Does that include the superstructure also? And if so, sorry, substructure. And if so, how is it possible? Because our toilets are costing around 12,000 to 15,000. So how do you manage that if it includes the substructure?
Very pertinent question. Straight? Yeah.
I am representing Ward 4 People India, and my question is also similar to ma'am's question. That's what I want to understand. $100, what are the material being used for your durable toilet, that is modular toilet, and what is the acceptance level from the community that people are looking for only the permanent structures, whereas now we have come up with some kind of modular toilets and we have to make some kind of adjustments in that. So what is the acceptance level from the community, as well as how could you manage within $100 of cost? Thank you.
I just would like actually not to make a question, but a quick connection, because we're all here for learning and sharing. And if you combine the app with the social marketing that we've been trying to do, there are possibilities that, for instance, a shop or a mason will start saying, okay, these are the products that I'm offering, and put it on the app with their prices. So the two can really talk together in that sense. And also to answer one of the questions that was just now raised about groundwater. I'm a hydrogeologist, it's very complicated, of course. But one of the studies has revealed, and we have Robert Chambers who can confirm that, is the biggest link is between density of people and open defecation. So if there are a lot of people on a certain location, it will be much more polluting, and it accounts also for the groundwater. Just to add to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's also cost from $3 to $10, so I'm trying to promote. Because our experience is that if we promote everything together, it is very difficult to marketing, so one after another. And this year we have started working how to promote also ministerial hygiene pad through the same entrepreneur shop or others. That we are exploring. So from step by step we are going forward. And about this groundwater, that WaterAid did a study 2 years ago. So we have considered that Wash Plus is doing another study to promote these things, to consider these things. They have developed an e-catalog. We have developed a printed catalog. So both for the customers and for the entrepreneurs. We have an entrepreneur's manual. There we have introduced how to construct a pit considering the groundwater, yes. We have tried the vertical and horizontal sludge disposal and all these things, use the brick chips and the sand too, but we could not able to minimize 100%, but we are trying and doing the research ongoing. So this is the second thing about the groundwater. And about the entrepreneurs' capacity building, that's the who is doing the business. We have taken them. We have tried to actually use the local materials, especially the brick chips, sands, and cements. Most of the product provision, and we have actually linked them with supply chain, who is supplying. And in the supply chain, in World Bank language, we added value chain, supply chain management. Both the thing, that's the different part we are doing. We have an entrepreneur manuals we have developed how to do this thing. If anybody is interested about this, how to provide training to the entrepreneurs, that's we can also help them, support them. And about the design is also, we have done all the, how much, what are the measurements they require in the entrepreneurs, for what type of toilets, everything is written. So that's, and we are providing, our experience is if you provide one-time training to the entrepreneur, that is not enough. They need follow-up support for a year, because sometimes they cannot remember. They are actually their 5 grade, 3 grade education level. So it's at least 1 year follow-up support. We are trying to do in some places for 2 years follow-up support for the marketing or for the for production of the product, both. And the cost of the $100 toilets, if you have heard a lot about 99% coverage, we have done a research study, and Susan Hansett is here? No, she left. And we found that in the rural poor household, most of the toilets actually cost around $20 to $25 constructed in Bangladesh. Not toilet like India. So it is not easy to sell a $200 toilets all on a Sunday. So we have to do quite a bit research. How can we actually promote toilets there? The $100 toilets we have done. This is the English version. We have catalog. So it looks like $200 toilet in India. But we have used some brick chips, cement, and it's a prefabricated and iron thread. And that's actually, and depends on the superstructure. If for $100 toilet is not pakka, it's actually CI sheet and also some materials we have used, locally available. And for the Pakka toilet, still it requires $200. Substructure. For the substructure is actually the 1 feet and twin feet, as actually 3 rings we use. That's also brick chips, sand and cement. And that's actually depends on people's choice. They can use, this is a pit toilet. It could be single, it could be double. But to reduce the cost, what we have introduced, instead of Y junction, we are using flexible pipe. So easy to construct, and that's also reduce cost some amount, $3–4. So from everywhere, $1 saving, $1 saving, $1 saving. This way, it took 3 years to design this type of toilet. Yes, $100 includes the substructure. The full toilet is $100. So I have actually translated for you our toilet. Yes, this one, and we have a big 200-page manual. Everything is written in this manual, one by one, how to do this thing. So this field worker can read this manual and help others.
Rakai, in the interest of time, I would just turn it over, but I also would encourage
reading issues in the states. Moving beyond sanitation, well, we are actually on the process of developing an application for solid and liquid waste management, and maybe after that, if the government support is still there, we'll make another one for sanitation and related hygiene. As for application plus social marketing, the application is widely available on the Swachh Bharat Mission website. So yes, there is some level of promotion, but we are not actively marketing it as a commercial product for now, because the government of India believes in promoting innovations, and most of these innovations are available on the government's website. Then your next question was, can the personal products developed by sanitation entrepreneurs, can they be added onto the website? I think the products right now, they represent what the government has actively ensured to. These products are approved by the government, and these rates are government rates. They can be changed according to different rates in the different states. But to ensure quality, we may or may not, that will be a later decision when the application is widely available across India, that whether we want to include products or not. As literacy issues, we are actually underdoing a test pilot type thing in Bihar, in Shivahat district in Bihar, and there Water for People is actively involved with the sanitation entrepreneurs in using this e-catalog, and they are actively trained and encouraged to use this application. So for that test product, we have had no literacy issues. The customers who have taken a look at this application through those sanitation entrepreneurs, they were very happy. In fact, even if they did not, they could not read the English name of the product, they could see that, yes, this is my product, and they could actually see the product in the entrepreneur's yard. Like, they have a storage unit, so they could see, okay, this is a curved tin sheet, and I can see that curved tin sheet. So that material will be used. So for now, we haven't faced any literacy issues. Maybe after the app is widely applicable, we'll know more about it. I think the last question was if we are open to marketing the application commercially. I think the government can answer that, and it's completely up to the government if they do want to commercially market it. So I would ask Sir to.
Very timely that you would ask him that, given that we have to wind up and move to the chair. Can I have a round of applause for the last two?
Innovations and R&D in the sanitation sector. Ron has talked about business model which starts with the needs of people offers improved sanitation products, which is essentially based on hearing from what the needs are and creating the products that are required and developing delivery models. A second generation problem, providing access to sanitation is one, and then this is a problem which we need to address. Some very good research that has been happening in Bangladesh, which we can all benefit from. We had a presentation from Rukaya, which was again on developing low-cost innovative solutions for meeting the challenges. And then we had a presentation from Shilpi, which was development of an application which can be used by many stakeholders involved in the implementation of our program in India. The challenges that this sector poses before us are so huge that we need innovative solutions. We need innovations that should be affordable, that should be acceptable, they have to be appropriate, and for many countries in this region, they also need to be scaled in India. And these innovations we need in all the different aspects of the problem and its solution. We need innovations in products, we need innovations in processes, in delivery mechanisms. So it's the last about 1.5 hours that we spent is too short a time to actually capture all the different aspects that we have. But I think there is a huge scope of learning from each other, and this process I think should go on. I think we in India have a mechanism where we allow people to share their innovative ideas with us, which we in turn share with other stakeholders. And I think we can have a similar process across our countries in South Asia. And I think I liked the idea which Robert was mentioning in the morning about rapid action learning across the region through the SACOSAN process. So that's, I just want to repeat that there's so much to learn from each other, and I just want to stop here, hoping that the SACOSAN declaration, the Dhaka declaration, would enable us to keep learning from each other even during the interim period between two SACOSANs. Thank you.
Session. Now it is time to show appreciation to the chair, co-chair, and the presenters. So on behalf of the organizers, I'll now present a memento to our session chair and then request him to present mementos to the co-chair and the rest of us. This concludes this session. Thank you very much. I will in 4 different rooms. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Hi, Robert.
So definitely Sri Lanka, and we are finding most of the participants from Sri Lanka. By now I have already introduced you with our chair, co-chair, and the presenters, and shortly I'll be handing over to chair for inviting the presenters to present their presentations. And I'm sure that this will be a very interesting session on sanitation for hard-to-reach area, where we'll be learning about the extreme water desert ecologies from Pakistan. Though the Pakistani presenters is not here, Sitaramji will be presenting that one, but we'll be learning sustainable sanitation, inclusive of hygiene and water, focusing marginalized communities. We'll be knowing best practices in hygiene promotion on post-conflict areas, which is very different than our typical hard-to-reach area. So let's hear that what is exclusive in that particular presentation. And finally, we'll be knowing about our new approach for promoting sustainable school sanitation from Kushmiti. So with this word, I am leaving it to the chair for conducting this session, and that will be very precise because we are already running out of time, so we'll try to shorten our presentations by 12 minutes or so. So after before 2 minutes, I think you will be getting a warning that is 2 minutes more, and then the time is over. I hope everybody will be able to maintain that time. Thank you very much. Over to the chair.
I, along with my co-chair, Ramashetty Murali, the convener of FANSA South Asia, is quite pleased to be here to chair this session, which is having a theme which is somewhat, for some it might be a bit misleading when you say hard to reach areas, and how could governments complain about reaching out to people. But then this is one unique issue that arises out of a success story of having reached 90% sanitation for our people. Still we find, due to topography, due to various other societal factors, reaching out to certain parts of communities spread in the nooks and corners of the country seems to be posing some challenges. But without going into details of it, leaving that to the presenters themselves, may I now right away begin by calling upon the first presenter, and in a sense we are grateful to him for having stepped in to fill a void, since unfortunately Pakistan is not with us in these sessions, in this round of SACOSAN conference. We are thankful to Dr. Sitaram Ji, who incidentally happens to be an orthopedic surgeon by profession, attached to the Vivekananda movement, Swami Vivekananda Youth Movement. He is going to talk to us on a related, interesting topic, in which he has gained some experience having worked in this area. That is reaching the unreached, working with tribal communities in Mysore, Karnataka. So without much ado, I will call upon Dr. Sitaram Ji.
At the outset, I'm extremely thankful for this opportunity that's been provided for me to share some of our experiences of working with the remote regions in the district of Mysore. So I will so in the I'm sorry for the technological glitch as well. I didn't
To briefly introduce him, he's a Supply and Drainage Board since 1994. Presently, he is engaged as a senior sociologist in Regional Support Center in Central Province. He has completed his graduation specializing in sociology in 1990. He also obtained his master's from the same university. In addition, he has completed postgraduate diploma in community development at University of Colombo, and he has completed advanced higher diploma in urban water supply and sanitation in Lund University from Sweden. So we will be pleased to have him present his paper today that is titled Ensuring Water Safety and Applying Sustainable Sanitation and Hygiene Promotion Program for Marginalized Community, Sri Lankan Experience.
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and Chair, Honorable Minister, and Co-Chair, and distinguished guest. My paper was Ensuring Water Safety Applying Sustainable Sanitation and Hygiene Promotion Program for Marginalized Communities. This is Sri Lankan Experience, Dampal Water Supply Scheme, and Paradika River Catchment. My paper contained on the background information, incident, the problem identification, catchment characteristic and remedial actions, application of the water safety plan, hazard identification, improvement plans and conclusions. Actually, the Sri Lanka is a 21 million of population. It is land extent 65,610 square kilometers. We have a rich water resources, actually 103 river basins and over 30,000 lakes, and 4% of the country is covered by the water. National Water Supply and Drainage Board, which representing me also, it's a key authority in Sri Lanka responsible for supplying pipe-borne drinking water to the community. Actually, this is present coverage since 2014, but totally we have a safe water coverage in 86.7%, but end of days, National Water Supply and Drainage Board is 34% one, and others like local authorities, community-based organizations, there are 12%. Almost 46% flow is covered by the pipe-borne water. But in addition, you can see that there are major part out of this 86.7, 46.4 is covered by protected dug wells, and others are hand pump tube wells. There are some small part of the rainwater harvesting. Actually, only 13.3% is not actually safe water. This is the case study I was presenting. It is date the 24th May 2004. It's a Gampala town. It's one morning in May 2007, the citizen of Gampala town, close to Kandy city in the central province of Sri Lanka, was shocked due to rumors spreading in and around the area that many people were suffering due to an outbreak of hepatitis A. Many were reported hospitalized. At the end of the day, nearly 600 patients were identified as victims of hepatitis A virus, and 2 were reported dead. As you know that hepatitis A is a waterborne disease, and one of the main health concerns related to the contaminated water and inadequate sanitation. Endemic and epidemic diseases resulting from unsafe water affected many humans within a short period. This is the main cause of hepatitis B. It is basically identified as a waterborne diseases. This is the case I am going to present today, and what are the action we have taken for minimizing and mitigating these issues. Actually, this issue is very much popular in those days. It is mass media gave a lot of publicity for that issue in addition to paper articles and some radio programs and some televisions. It is discussed widely. Anyway, but after that, after this discourse, that the government decided to jointly inspect those areas and what has happened for reason of this issue. All stakeholders connected to the drinking water supply Gampala jointly inspect this study, that this situation. Actually, the Gampala town, it's upstream of the water source, was one of the main cause of responsible for the transmission of the hepatitis A virus. It was identified. That Paradekoi and Nayapana are tributaries of the Mahavira River. You know the Mahavira River is one of the main river in Sri Lanka, but it's carried a lot of water. It is that raw water obtained from those rivers, those two tributaries, Paradeka and Nayapana, and the Paradeka water treatment plant is providing drinking water to Gampala town. Actually, it is in the 14 kilometers upstream of the Gampala. Most of the people who are living in the catchment, they are not much aware on the. This is the area for water goes to that town. Actually, this studies identified there are 245 families who are not using toilet, and actually there was no proper solid waste management system, and some towns.
To note down the questions, at the end of all presentations, we'll have a question-answer session. Thank you.
Particular issue that you had experience with, first-hand experience, as a sociologist working for the National Water Supply and British Board. In fact, sanitation in Sri Lanka for plantation communities is confronted with many challenges. In fact, the government has had systematic interventions in trying to improve conditions, and we are here. We have a former member of parliament representing the plantation community presently, who is also Plantation Human Development Trust chairman, Mr. Putra Sigamani. He too is have been involved in improving these conditions in those areas. Now, may I call upon the next presenter, who will be talking to us on ensuring water safety, applying sustainable sanitation. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Best practices in promoting hygiene in post-conflict areas. A case study of NEP WASH project, NEP WASH project in Sri Lanka. This has been co-authored by Mrs. Saumya and Jayasurya and Mr. A.H. Gunapal. To briefly introduce Saumya, she's a former trainer, lecturer in a higher education institute, and presently working as a sociologist attached to the National Water Supply and Drainage Board. She is a highly motivated professional equipped with excellent community mobilizing skills, lecturing and training capabilities, complemented with comprehensive experience around 15 years as a sociologist, social consultant, trainer, counselor in the disciplines of social work. Over to Saumya to make
Honorable Minister, the Chair and the Co-Chair, and the distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me share with you all the best practices in promoting hygiene in post-conflict areas, a case study of NEP WASH project, Sri Lanka. Actually, this is a collaborative work with Mr. H. Gunapala, the Assistant General Manager of National Water Supply and Drainage Board, and I am really happy that he is also present here. In fact, this is supposed to be a pilot project carried out in northern and eastern parts of Sri Lanka, and it was carried out in basically 11 GNDs in Mana and Trincomalee districts. After terminating this 30 years of civil war occurring in the country. Provision of safe drinking water, improve the sanitation facilities, and adoption of best hygienic practices are the three main components of this project. Project at a glance.
Under this project, nearly 3,000 households were benefited with water supply connection. At the same time, 600 sanitation facilities were provided to schools as well as the household level. These are the selected sub-projects from Eastern Province, Trincomalee districts. And these are the selected sub-projects from Northern Province, that is from Mannar district. Project mainly focused on the community participation, stakeholder consultation, social inclusion with the special reference to promote hygiene. At the same time, it paid much attention towards the improvement of livelihoods of conflict-affected communities who were resettled from their original places. These are the sub-projects we selected from Trincomalee districts and the 5 sub-projects from Mannar districts. In the initial stage, we were able to conduct a participatory survey to understand the available situation of the selected sub-project areas. Here we focused on sanitation, facilities based on the type of toilet, and ownership and the reasons for not having toilets. These are the extracts from the participatory survey. Hygiene education program consisted of different themes: personal hygiene, food hygiene, environmental hygiene. And we carried out some competitions, street dramas, and mobile health clinics like eye clinics. How we promoted sanitation and hygiene. Here we tried to change people's knowledge, attitudes and practices, especially the behaviors towards the hygiene promotion. And we conducted hygiene education programs for selected schools and community of the sub-project areas. And we identified hygiene education issues, and we prepared some proposals, materials and posters. And we conducted some small group discussions in small group level. We have formed some community-based organizations. Those are called as water use associations, and the school development committees also. The implementation of the health habit card is a special feature of this hygiene promotion program. This health habit card was introduced among the selected grades of school children in 2 districts. This health habit card carries a special messages on good sanitation and hygienic messages. The students were supposed to practice each of these good practices during their schools as well as in their homes. They have to mark or tick their cards every day after practicing specific good hygienic practices. For example, like brushing teeth and washing hands, combing hair, etc. After that, they take it to the school to get it marked from the teachers, respective teachers. The major objective of implementation of this health habit card is to deliver this good message to their families as the change agents, and to create positive thinking among the village community about environmental friendly activities. These are the key stakeholders of this program, mainly the parents, students, principals, teachers, and the project officials, and the political leaders and officers from health department and the education officers. Total beneficiaries were around 3,000 communities. Some highlights from the health habit card implementation. You can see the students who are holding the health habit cards. And you may see here how the PHI is training the students how to wash their hands in a proper way, and there's a community meeting as well, and the students' meetings. Monitoring and
from conflict-affected area. Yes. Now we will move on to the original first presentation, which we missed out because of a technical glitch. He has in fact identified that it is a problem matching the software that he had with the hardware that was supposed to be used. So now, having sorted up Dr. Sitaram Ji to make his presentation.
Capital, even now the cultural capital of the region, doesn't really come across as an area which is hard to reach. But even within this district, we have a block which is called the Heggada Devana Kote, the HD Kote, which is predominantly difficult to reach even on road because of certain characteristics. And that is the area that I'm going to focus on. And considering that we will be looking at the inaccessibility part of the whole work, I'd like to highlight what are those so-called, if I may coin the word, disablers, which makes that area difficult to access. The first thing is the geographic location and the topography of that area. It has a very large forest cover, which is part of the Project Tiger, and is supposed to be the showpiece of elephant conservation as well. It's sort of thing to be proud of, but at the same time it breeds a lot of human-animal conflict and makes it very difficult for people to eke out a living. It's also not the foothills of the Western Ghats, and so the topography is pretty hilly, and it's the border region of 3 different states. So it's a sort of watershed area away from the mainstream city and the center of power. There are also a lot of social challenges in that area. It's predominantly populated by what is in India called the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes. In fact, it's a constituency that is reserved for the scheduled tribes, even in the classification of legislative assembly elections. In addition to that, the HD Kote is the taluk which has the maximum population of the forest-based indigenous tribal groups. In our area, we have 5 different types of forest-based groups, amongst which are also people who are called the Jenukurubas, and that particular group is classified as a particularly vulnerable tribal community by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs in Government of India. There are multiple relationship problems and hierarchy issues that come up when you look at a social structure that is as complicated as this, and that makes access to even basic services difficult. There are economic challenges. Nearly 80% of our people live below the poverty line. Part of it is due to the fact that much of the economy is dependent on rain-fed agriculture. Other avenues of income generation are not really well developed, and non-land-based activities are minimal. In a setting like this, over the past 2 or 3 decades, major upheavals have happened. One of them was the construction of a major reservoir across the river Kabini, due to which a lot of settlements, villages, thriving villages were submerged, and they had to be relocated. And that relocation meant that forest land had to be broken down. In addition to that, around the same time, Government of India promulgated the Conservation of Forests Act, which meant that in the reserved forest there could be no human habitation. But for generations in that area, we had tribal communities living in close conjunction with nature. Now, at one stroke, all those people had to be thrown out of their original habitat and relocated elsewhere. Now, this resettlement in terms of location of stay is a rather physical and simplistic way of putting it, But uprooting the culture and creating a totally new facility in a new place has as much of psychological component as physical, and that component had been not addressed at all. So resettlement occurred, but rehabilitation was inadequate. Now there is a vicious cycle in this setting. Because of these challenges, the infrastructure support there is very poor. Water facilities, sanitation facilities, housing, etc. All the basic stuff, they are very poor. There are a lot of statutory regulations and restrictions. Because it comes under the forest protected area, there are certain activities which are, we feel, basic to human existence that are banned. You can't dig a bore. They say you can't construct things. Again, fair enough, but what is the alternative? No, that's the environment that we will have to work in. Poor connectivity, poor communications. The fact that there was a mobile coverage revolution all over the country, we were still blissfully secluded from mobile coverage till a few years ago. On top of it, the basic facilities for simple primary education and primary health care were woefully short. And who would like to go and stay there? Obviously, people who are posted to the primary health center wouldn't go, teachers wouldn't go, and therefore, you set up a typical vicious cycle where the critically required skilled human resource is not there to make a change in the available situation.
Challenges involved in delivering services to tribal and indigenous communities, and the interventions in this regard is something that every country in India need to preserve the culture, heritage and the practices of indigenous communities, along with the developmental needs, need to focus on. Thank you very much. And now coming to our final presenter, the presentation is titled A AAA Approach for Promoting Sustainable School Sanitation, Lessons Learned from Central Province of Sri Lanka. This is to be presented by Ms. Kusum Athukorala, who is a former university lecturer currently working as researcher, consultant and activist in rural development, gender and water. She has an MSc from Imperial College London and is also the co-founder chair of NetW Water, the former chair and current senior advisor of Sri Lanka Water Partnership. She contributes her expertise on several national and international organizations. She is also the co-chair of the UNESCO WWAP Gender Panel and holder of IWA's Women in Water Award. Over to Kusum.
Everyone, good afternoon. Our respected chair, Honorable Rav Hakim, co-chair, Mr. Murali, my colleagues from Sri Lanka, my friends from South Asia, thank you very much for coming for our session, and I hope to do the honors on this last presentation. A AAA approach to promoting school sanitation. You will see in these not very good slides, lots of names, and that is something that I would like to highlight. The importance of getting stakeholders from different organizations to work towards a common motive. Let me talk about Netwater, Network of Women Water Professionals. When I come from as a founder member of the Global Water Partnership, when we started the South Asia Global Water Partnership, we had the Colombo Dialogue, where we had about 50 men and two women. So we thought that we need to bring up a forum where we should raise the issue of the need to push the third Dublin Rio principle, which says that women have a significant role in the management and conservation of water. And the result is Netwater, the network of women water professionals based in Sri Lanka. It is a pioneering organization in promoting, advocating for women, and ensuring that the gender issues come on the table. And I'm very happy to say here, 27 women and 55 men. That's not too bad, really. But when we look at our mantra, which we have heard in earlier sessions, saying leave no one behind, we have to be very careful that we don't leave half of humanity behind. Thank you. Next one, please. Yeah, the objectives. The objectives of this activity, which we call the AAA, and Netwater, was to promote awareness on gender, water, and through an IWRM perspective, which is what Global Water Partnership stands for. And because Netwater supported intergenerational equity as its three main areas of focus, we developed what for Sri Lanka Water Partnership, our main organization, what we call the Sisu Jala Hamua. I think all the South Asians will understand Sisu Jala Hamua. Therefore, school children's priority has health is a priority to us. But when you talk of Sri Lanka, we look at a success story in many ways. We have a high national average for health and sanitation, good coverage. We have lots of households which are happy and benefited by having their own toilet. Open defecation is low, but of course it does happen. We have about 1.7 with no toilets at all. But still for all, we do have considerable disparities and pockets of deprivation. And those pockets of deprivation need, of course, special initiatives and special activities. One thing that we were rather surprised to find when we do our Sisu Jala Hamua, that we encountered poor sanitation levels in many schools. You know, when you go as a trainer, at the end of the training, when you want to use the loo, there is no loo. So this is something that really came to us in a very hard way. Next, please. When we look at school sanitation in Sri Lanka, in the 2007 census, we had still quite a number of schools which didn't have sanitation, and quite a few which did not have drinking water facilities. We really picked up on this with another little snippet in the newspaper. There was a snippet about a school in Abilipitia, which is a poor area, where the girls had won the basketball championship. And the one thing that they had asked for is a toilet. So, again, UNICEF data, it has about 20% schools didn't have toilets. So we started looking around a little bit more. And then we found that this gap in school sanitation is not always in the poorest areas. You could be in a very well endowed school and still have no good toilets. Because having a toilet does not mean that you have a usable toilet. And that is the big difference which came to all of us. That, you know, we have the numbers. The numbers are there. The toilet is there, but it cannot be used. Next, please.
For you and take a few questions, and the presenters are here, so you can point out if you have any particular question to any particular presentation. Alternatively, you can ask question and the presenters can decide who to answer. So please carry on, and I'm requesting you to be there with your handphone. Yeah.
Thank you to the all presenters, and all the three presentations are really very nice. My name is Riyad. I work for Maths Foundation as a country director in Bangladesh. And I was really looking for some good example that you already given there for hard-to-reach areas. On common, my first issue to know that how all these programs are monitoring in terms of hard-to-reach areas, because there might be a hard-to-reach planning maps and also strategies, and how these programs are contributing to change in the hard-to-reach areas. And secondly, about the school wash issues that are presented the last presentation, how it links with the hard-to-reach areas. So these 2 questions.
Okay,
Thank you for all the
so
good
please
presentations.
keep note on that. We'll take 2-3 questions and.
I was especially impressed. I'm Suzanne Hancha, Planning Alternatives for Change. I'm an independent consultant. I was very impressed with Dr. Sitaramji's comment that it took some time to think about the people's thinking before setting any solutions to the problems. And I'd like to know if there's some way we could I don't know, standardize this approach, because all these remote areas, they are quite different, and there are specific cultural questions that will come up and obstacles that will come up. You cannot do this top-down, one-size-fits-all. So if you could make maybe a few pointers, a few general suggestions about how to enter a place that you don't know much about, where the culture might be different. It'd be good if that became a kind of general rule, instead of just rushing in and saying, well, we know what you want, and here it is.
Thank you. One more.
Just a question for me. In what sense you say these areas are hard to reach? It is due to geophysical law, whether it is due to the government delivery system reaching outreach issues? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And I'm
areas. I am a little worried why, because I really didn't expect my presentation to be in this particular session. But in the sense, it is the schools that we are working with are not particularly, I think, as difficult as what those sites in Mysore. But they are definitely the schools that which are going to be the first to be closed. In fact, many of those schools were supposed to be closed. The poorest of the poor go there. I mean, if you can afford it, you would go to town. And I have seen, one indication of poverty which really touched me quite a bit is that children come to school wearing shoes and they change into slippers because they don't want to wear out the shoe leather. They really are very poor schools. So in that sense, they are marginalized. But physically, I don't think they are as marginalized as the Mysore schools that we are talking about.
Thank you. And the next one is Vikramaji.
I'd like to add something on the why we think about the hard to reach. Actually, that the plantation community in this area, this is very mountain area, and they are separately one of the community who are devoted to the plantation sector, only for the plantation activities, and they have very old houses, but construction during British era. There are 2-3 families living in the very small area, and they have a lack of sanitation, lack of water supply, lack of some basic needs is lack of compared to the other areas of the country. That's why we are thinking about this. The plantation is a little bit hard to area, but our old statistics says that plantation state communities are a little bit lack of those basic facilities such as compared to the other urban and rural communities in the country. Actually, that's why we have they have a very time of very extra effects to the develop their livelihood like this, or their basic facilities like this. Separate approach. Actually, we found that they are actually these communities, but we have very good experience in that. We after construction toilets, we try to learn them to how you are behaving, how you will go to use the toilet, and we are using other separate education materials to train them to say this is very important to protect their resources.
Thank you. And
stand out. It could be geographic or cultural or that sort of issues. And I feel that the collective effort should be to make sure that these communities move out of that tag. And like I said, initially when we went there, perhaps the entire taluka was hard to reach. But then subsequently, now we are happy that only some pockets are. In response to Susan's question, as an internal learning, we have been able to crystallize certain steps of how to approach the issues that the community is faced with. And the first level would be getting to know using participatory tools like focus group discussions or transects and such other processes. Once we also know, then we look at creating an awareness. The first level will be awareness generation. We become aware and they become aware. So it's a mutual education at that stage. And then the next would be a stage of demand, where people say that we want something and not something that is imposed. Once they have that, then we facilitate a process of discussion on solutions. A discussion on solutions. We have not still identified what fits us best. And that is how I was giving the example of the environment park, where people come over, see the models and then choose, I don't want this, I want this sort of a situation, where collectively they decide that yes, I will build the 8,500 rupee model because XYZ reasons. And then finally comes the level of actually implementing the solution, which again is a collective process. Now, with
this monitoring supervision program of this program we conducted, actually, as I said, Sri Lankan government has set up very strong link. I mean, before the implementation process, we have identified several stakeholders. As I said, the community, the zonal education officers, health department, and the NGO activities, as well as the political leaders. So that strong basement is there. So it was very easy for us to monitor and supervise this program. That's what I.
Thank you very much. To get back to the presenters during break. And now I will be listening to, I would like to request our co-chair, Mr. Rami Shetty Murali, to say a few words.
President of Sri Lanka, Mr. Rauf Hakim, presenters, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start with a sincere word of appreciation to the government of Sri Lanka for having taken this responsibility of organizing this technical session on an important theme titled Sanitation for Hard-to-Reach Areas. We know that government of Sri Lanka has been performing extremely well on the important indicator of achieving open defecation-free communities, and they're fast moving towards achieving complete open defecation-free status in the nation. Probably they could have thought of any other themes related to moving upward on the sanitation ladder. But the fact that government of Sri Lanka made a conscious choice to organize the technical session on this theme of sanitation for hard-to-reach areas shows the commitment of government of Sri Lanka to reach the objective of universal access to sanitation and the realization of the human right to sanitation for all people in the country. I would also like to very much appreciate the spirit with which the presentations were made. Honorable Minister in the chair and 3 presentations from the Sri Lanka openly acknowledging that there are certain forms of exclusion, and this is how we have identified the problem and trying to solve the problem. I think that kind of openness is also something that need to be very much appreciated. I would like to request all of you to join me for a round of applause for the spirit in which government of Sri Lanka has organized this session. I also feel that there is a need to challenge this notion of hard-to-reach areas. I think that's what, in a subtle way, the chair has started off with in his introduction remarks. Because this kind of phrasing, in a subtle way, may provide justification for perpetual situation of not reaching services, adequate sanitation services for certain communities. When we refer to hard to reach areas, essentially we are referring to the communities who are living under certain kind of challenging circumstances. I think in Sitaram's presentation it has come out very well. People living in areas which have got geographical challenges. Can you please reduce the volume? People living in areas which are exposed to recurring calamities, droughts, floods, cyclones, so on and so forth. And then also people living under poverty conditions. Poverty is a major deterring factor to access sanitation services, water services, etc. And also the social conditions, cultural conditions, which act as a kind of deterrent factors in accessing sanitation services. And when we refer to hard to reach, I think we are also referring to individuals having disability, physical disability, illness, disability associated with the age factor, so on and so forth. But I think attributing the situation of denial of sanitation services to these very challenges is a kind of unfair analysis. I think there's a need for honestly reflecting on the level of sensitivity, responsiveness and accountability of decision makers and the whole service delivery system at all levels in responding to the needs of these most marginalized communities who are often excluded from providing sanitation services. I think it's also a question of the capacity and the attitude with which the supply system is performing. I think unless we look at it from that point of view, it may get justified. They are living in areas which are very difficult to reach. That's why it takes longer time, and that longer time may be kind of unending process. Now I would like to, do you have some more time? I would now like to pick up at least one most important kind of highlight from each of the presentations. She talked about awareness. I think this is a very important thing. When we are talking about reaching sanitation services to the marginalized, excluded community.
These practices, models, I mean, simply the project can't take off now. That's how things are developing, I'm sure. But when it comes to specific issue of sanitation and best practices, I think we should develop that from the rapporteur's summary and then make it available to the donors and others who are involved in this. So thank you very much for having participated, and I must say, being a politician, and we are never tired of adulation. So I want to add one more thing, just for my country's sake. I think we must appreciate our 4 students who are here who participated in a side event, raising voices of children for sanitation, and that was a very well. Those of you who had been there at that side event would have noticed the quality of representation. I can't be thanked for all of them. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. And co-chair is supposed to give it to you. And finally, you are supposed to give it to me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's done.